Hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. And I need to see my presentation and somebody to assist me changing the slides. Okay, the lecture will be about your life after the startup. I believe all of you want to join the corporate world and create their own startups. I was one of the people who had this idea 15 years back. So I'll try to tell you more about my experience with the business after founding a company and all the beautiful things that are happening during this period. Okay, this formula, happiness is equal to reality minus expectation, is a very nice one. I really like this concept because it means that you're happy if your reality is better than your expectations, and vice versa. You're not happy if your expectations are bigger than what is happening to you. So I'll tell you more about me 15 years ago when I was still a student and I was almost your age, 23, 24 years old. Thank you. And my dream and my feeling in my guts was that I'm really very special and that I can conquer the world, and I have something in me that will predict me a bright future. I believe most of you have such a feeling, and it's very normal for the young people. And who's changing it? There or there? Okay, thank you. And one of my dreams was to change the world somehow, and to somehow to create my own reality in order not to go somewhere abroad, but to stay here and to rule my own destiny. And something which is very important for me was not to have a boss and not to work for somebody, for somebody's dream, but to create my own dreams, to follow them, to create a nice company. Thank you very much for this. Okay, great. And of course, not to obey someone's rules, but to create my own rules and to be really a master of my destiny. So, if we come back to happiness is equal to reality minus expectations, you will see that my happiness was not to have a boss, not to follow rules, to be free to decide, free to create whatever I want, and of course to be successful. And my expectations were to create my own reality, to achieve my own happiness, to establish a company which could help me achieve all these things, and to create my own bubble, my own world with all the things that I really like. But in the end of the day, this lecture will be about the reality and about what's happening when you have the bright idea, when you create your company, you believe that the world is in your hand, and you should start growing this business, and you should choose between evolve the business or die. So obviously I evolved the business, and here we are. It's me 15 years ago. I used to work in an advertising company. I started as office manager or secretary. I changed my position several times in a year, where I combined different roles and different functions, starting from copywriter, designer, and PR specialist, of course. And it was awful to have a boss. It was really very strange, very, I don't know, uncomfortable for me. So one day, I just decided to found a new company, which could be different than the other PR agencies at the market, which were many at the time. And I jumped into the business in the real life. Well, it was a very nice journey, but in order to have a really nice journey, you should surround with people just like you, and to attract people who are with your mentality and who are more alike like you, and who are workaholics, of course, which are very brave, who have similar to yours expectations to life. So I met these guys. Mary, Nikki, and Sylvia, three of my partners. Sylvia not anymore with us. But Nikki and Mary are the managers in all channels at the moment. And with these guys, we start to conquer the world of PR marketing in Bulgaria. So something which was very important in the very beginning, which was the enthusiasm of winning awards, clients, and all this stuff which makes you really happy and you have a feedback from the world that you're really, really very good. So we start counting our awards from 2002 till maybe now, winning award after award. We stop counting them, stop counting them at one moment. But this somehow described us as a player at the PR and advertising market. We were the agency with many awards, very creative agency. We were very enthusiastic about this. And in the end of the day, we put lots of efforts running all accounts that we have, working for all the clients that we have. We win new and new clients, new and new awards, and we work as one. It was the first stage of our company. It was really very romantic part of our development when all of the people in your office are your family. You are doing everything together. We go to drink together. We go to work together. We are all the time with these people. And this is maybe the most interesting and most inspiring part of any startup. Well, the first lesson that I've learned and my colleagues learned from this period was that you need motivated people in order to be successful. And motivation is something which is coming from inside. And people just could decide not to be motivated. And you can do anything about this. So, in the end of the day, you should hire smarter people than you. And somehow to admit this very fact every day to the smarter people than you. And this is the very foundation, and this is the very painful fact that I realized in the very beginning of my entrepreneurial trip or journey. Okay, until one day in 2005, after the romantic period expired, we realized that we grew up and we were many. You can see here some of the field managers which are together with us today as well. This is a picture of 10 years ago, and for the first time we start thinking of a strategy of organizational chart, something that could put everything on the right spot. Why? Because we weren't able anymore to work as a one, and everyone should have its own clients, own responsibilities, and to be responsible for what he or she is doing. So we launched, or we introduced this strange org chart, and for the first time we start thinking of our future not as a romantic journey, but as a real business, and we start thinking of us as one of the leading agencies at the market, or we just dreaming to be the leading agency in Bulgaria. And we start thinking of creating a digital agency in 2014, 2005, when having a digital agency was like having a spaceship for space something. And from one moment, we realized that we need field managers. We need people who can work instead of us with people. So we did maybe the most common mistake which every starting company is doing. And this mistake is to give more responsibilities and to turn the best players in the agency or in the business, the best performers, turn them into the managers. Why? We will see later on. And the lesson from second period of our company was that it's very important to set your goals, to plan in the long term in order to know where you're going, to check the progress regularly, and of course, to celebrate success every time when you can. And the main lesson was that setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. It's very important to know where you want to go and what you want to reach in the future. No one believes years back that all channels will be one of the biggest and one of the most successful agencies in the PR market. 3 years in a row we were announced best PR agency, which is a miracle for all of us. So it's very important to know and to set your goals and to think of them every single day and to communicate with all your partners, all your staff, and to inspire them, to reach them as soon as possible. Well, until one day in 2007, we realized that all our managers, in fact, are something like slaveholders. And they were turned into monsters without any training to be managers, without any education in management, without any education in leadership. These guys tried to do the whole work in the world and to force all the guys that we have, the junior guys, to do this with them and to follow their rhythm, which is really a very humiliating and very bad thing. So for the first time in our history, our family was ruined by people who left the company. We had all these interpersonal problems, which were very personal, not just business, but really personal problems. And we hired the consultants. This was the thing that happened. And we couldn't kick them off maybe for more than a year. But at the end of the day, it was a very interesting experience because we realized for the first time that we had business in our hands, a real business, and we should think of operations, financial reports, and HR strategies. 3 very important things which are running every company at the market. Well, lesson 3 is to be really very sensitive to people around you, to be very sensitive to the market, to be very critical to what you are doing and not to try to avoid all the problems that you are facing in your career. And it's very important to listen. Maybe one of the problems that we had is just because we didn't listen to all the people that we had in the agency. And it's very important to share your experience. All of us, have lots of experience in different issues. And in this very moment, we are also trying to spread everything what we know internally with our staff and externally with you as students and with students in other universities. Sorry. And the next very important lesson that it's very important to learn from your own mistakes, but it's much more important to learn from others' mistakes and to try to avoid all these things in future. Well, 2009, most of you remember the financial crisis. It was a huge hysteria, and no one knew what will happen, in fact, and where the world will go. And in fact, we stood in front of 2 very important choices. The first one was to play a low profile and to wait the crisis to pass by, or to be very brave, stupid, as we were previously in all our life, and to jump into the fire and to do whatever we can to start creating new businesses, to start creating new entities in order to be more stable in the future. It's obvious that we decided to follow the second path. Well, the second path was launching an internal long-term strategy. For the first time in our history, we start thinking in 5 years periods ahead. And we call this Strategy Leader 2014, which means that we stated that we would like to be the leader of Bulgarian marketing market. Not only PR, but also to penetrate the advertising market, digital, media, and all other marketing spheres. The second thing was we were thinking that we could also expand our operations abroad and go to other countries and to make all channels global company. The third step was to diversify our portfolio, which means that we will invest in every action and every activity which is profitable in our agency. Experts in communications is our strong communication, internal communication and training program, which is very successful nowadays. Revenue is also something which is very important for every company in order to survive, to have a stable growth and to have a clear vision what should be the result from the activities and from the efforts of all the staff and shareholders. And of course, revolutionary positioning, which is something that I really cannot explain nowadays. But revolutionary positioning means that we won't work anymore for companies, but we will work for brands, whatever it means today. Okay, so we started incubating kind of startups. That time it wasn't popular, it was like startups, it was different agencies in the sphere of communications. The first one was the advertising company, all channels advertising, which was maybe one of the most exotic things that we've done, because we jumped just in the middle of the red ocean of the marketing and advertising market, where there were the big sharks won. And this was the market where the bigger and most powerful international agencies are. So we challenged the StartUP, and years now I could say that it was one of the most brave and very successful jump and company. Well, the second thing that we've launched was All Channels Interaction, the digital agency. We started in 2010. After many years of different tries to establish such company, finally we did it from scratch, very organically, and we are still developing this company on the market. And the third company was All Channels Activation, which is the below the line company or events management company. Something that we had from the very beginning of All Channels as part of our operations, but we separated from the PR activities, being the first Bulgarian PR agency doing this, separating events management from PR. Well, we try also to go to Poland very opportunistically. We had a very nice partners there and very good signs that we will be very successful at the Polish market. But in a year, I realized that it's impossible. The company died. And finally, we decided to stay here in Bulgaria to develop our business, waiting to get bigger, smarter, and stronger, and one day to go somewhere, I don't know where. Well, and after all these startups, we decided that our unique selling proposition is not only winning awards, but to offer our clients integrated services. Not PR, not advertising, but something which is very holistic, which could help our clients to have everything from one spot. If a company needs PR, we offer PR. If they need advertising, we offer advertising events. Whatever you want, we are like one-stop shop for marketing and communication services. And the next lesson is that when there is a crisis, you cannot change the circumstances. In the end of the day, something that you really can change is you, and to start changing in order to be successful. And you should do this with lots of courage. And if you will never do anything of this world without courage. And you should have courage to do all the things that you're planning to do. Never mind that you fail or you will win. In the end of the day, you need courage in order to be successful. Until one day we realized that our relations and our structure become pretty complicated. You can see the org chart from 2000 and something with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different units under the umbrella of All Channels Communication Group. And we realized that we hired too many people. We hired only for 1 year 22 new colleagues, which is 50% from our staff. You can imagine what the cultural shock is for the company. And it was a moment when all of us as old members of our team, we barely remember the names of the newcomers. It was a very strange situation when all the old people in the company, including the managers, the field managers, they're trying to do all the work in the world because they didn't believe in the new members. They didn't delegate any work, any activities to them because they didn't believe that they will manage to do this. So we're thinking how we can change this and how can we improve the company performance. How can we turn our company the family it was before. Something that we did that time was very funny and very simple. All of us as old members had the mission to invite some of the newcomers to lunch without explaining why. The reason for this lunch was to all of us to understand different things about the guy who we have lunch with. Who is he, his friends, hobbies, and things which are more informal. And to share with other old guys this information. In 1 month, we were very close with the new guys, and the company started breathing again. And started turning in the old, good family that we were before. And something which was revolutionary for us was to give more responsibility to our fields manager. It was the time when we started thinking of us as a team with the guys that we gave the responsibility to manage people. And we didn't need any more people with business cards. We could just go somewhere and show how important they are, but we need guys who are leaders, who can inspire people, who can spread the message of the company and all the mission, all the values of the company among the young members of our team. So we opened the floor for discussion for every strategic thing with our managers. So we discussed every single action, future action, strategic action with them. It sounds very strange, but believe me, it's very tough to lose the control and to start giving more and more responsibility to the guys and people around you, never mind how they smart are or how you believe them, how much you believe them. So it's very important fact, which I'm not sure how many Bulgarian companies, or not only Bulgarian but international as well, believe in this. But people are really smart, and people are very different, and people need freedom in order to be motivated. And it's very important. I need something. Okay. Oh. It's not mine. Could you help me? I don't remember what was the next slide. Okay. So it's very important to know that, and to start thinking of you not as a special. Because the special are people around you, and we are special when we work together. None of us, especially in our company, is not special. We need a group of people, we need a team in order to be successful. And in 2012, we realized that we are not so good as we think, and our services suck. And in fact, we don't offer integrated services because most of our clients, they get these services from us, but they are synchronizing all these services alone. So they're calling to different people in the agency, getting the services there, combine something, and it's something like Frankenstein. And it was funny that no one in the agency knew that his colleagues in the next room worked with this client as well. So it was a complete mess. Well, we launched a new project, internal project, called Evolution. And we introduced a very exotic organizational structure called Matrix. The guys in this room who study business know what I'm talking about, but this is maybe one of the most slow very nice, but very slow and very expensive structure. But we decided that we are better than the others, and we will launch it, and we will be more successful than any other company that had the same structure. Well, we did the structure. We created a whole new team from scratch, which were the team with project managers, which were responsible for all services of the company. They were responsible to sell every service that we had, and these guys should be something like gods of communications and marketing. And we were inspired by this book. If you have time and you remember this guy, Ricardo Zemer, it's really amazing. And something like what we did, which is extremely successful and it's part of our culture, we created an open source organization. In this moment, and from this moment on, every single person in our company could participate in taking any decision, could propose whatever he wants in order to change the organization internally. We said that we don't have rules, we have principles inside, which means that everyone could change it. Just should propose something which is meaningful, and we will support him, and we will change whatever he or she wants to do. Well, this is the lesson number 6. Empower people, give them freedom, and the change comes always from inside. And to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. And we change very often, as you can see. And we are trying to reach this perfect shape of our company, but it's very, very hard. So, 2013, we realized that we are very self-focused. You can imagine when everyone is supposed to propose new principles, what can happen in an organization? We got ill from a sickness called too many meetings and too many conversations. We just stopped working. We just had meetings in order to discuss our internal issues, to change the organization, in order to make it better and better and better. And one day, we realized that we won almost 60% of the pitches that we participated in. We won 60% of the clients and projects in the company, but we had almost 400,000 loss only for the first half of 2013. And something more, our CFO just left. She disappeared overnight, just gone. And we stood in front of the whiteboard thinking, what can we do in order to survive? And the first thing was, of course, to cut some costs. But 400,000 leva is a huge amount of money. And after a sleepless night, we decided that we should lay off some of our colleagues, some of the guys who were part of our family. So on 10th of October, we fired 10 of our colleagues. This picture, in fact, is from a given day. And this is the farewell party when we just left these people to go out of the office. Well, never mind the problems, you should stay focused and to find a solution. Because at that moment we were 70 people in the agency, we remained 60, but in the end of the day you should take care for the other 60 people in this company. And you should remember the pain that you experienced that time and to try and never repeat this mistake. And you should know that your victory is around the corner and never give up. It's very difficult, guys, for you that will try to start their own companies. It's a really tough work to work with people who try to evolve your company. But it's very interesting journey. From that moment on, from 2014, Up to now, we're focusing not only to our HR strategy, which is very important for us, but we also invest lots of efforts for improving our creative excellence, our customer satisfaction and customer intimacy, and to minimize the gap between what we offer to our clients as a creative and as a concept with what we are executing. We call this execution excellence. Well, and we still follow this mantra, which is maybe one of the most important: work, think, play. And we're trying to play every time when we have to do this, or we have a reason to do this. And we have lots of reasons. And we try to be really this family that we were in the very beginning of all channels 15 years ago. And this is maybe the most important and most interesting lesson, that you should have fun, guys. When you do this, you should enjoy your work every single day in order to be really successful. And today we have 60 experts, we have almost 40 clients, we have lots of recognitions from different international and national competitions. But we're very proud with those awards from 2012 and 2014. You don't see here 2013. But we won 2 times Best Client, Best Business Strategy Award, Best Client Policy first place this year, and Best HR Strategy. We're really very, very proud with these achievements. And this is the last lesson. It's a very important wrap-up lesson, that problems could never be solved, they are just rearranged. And you should not give up and not stop solving them. And you should enjoy your work and your journey as entrepreneurs, and never stop changing you, change your organization, people around you, in order to be successful. Thank you very much.
Great presentation. Now it's time for our audience to ask their questions within our online platform. Let's see if we have any questions yet, or maybe somebody. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Todor. Thank you for the lessons shared. My question is the following: why you reached the point when you had to lay off people? I didn't get it. You're very good in closing deals, and then.
Thank you for this question.
Yeah. What happened?
Maybe we trust too much to some of the senior guys in the agency, but in the end of the day, the responsible for this layoff is to the top managers, mine and to 2 of my shareholders. But look, we were thinking, what does happen? But we had very expensive structure. We had 70 people, and we realized that one of our top clients, Avon, the American company, cosmetics company, was served by 7 people. Why? Because we had a project manager, assistant of the project manager, PR manager, assistant of the PR manager. We have events manager who is dealing with all the events which appear there, and we have more designers and other staff who is involved from time to time. So we have almost between 5 and 7 people working for these clients, and with most of the clients was the similar situation. And we realized that we are not ready for this structure. And I don't know how to answer you. I'm trying to explain, but it's very difficult. Because this was stupidity. Okay. Shit happens.
No, I'm trying to understand what was the mistake behind, which we could learn from.
The mistake behind is that we experiment and we weren't ready to implement this strategy in 100%. Maybe we look, because I'm trying not to put emphasis on the business environment, but it's also a part of our job somehow to think of this. And Bulgaria is experiencing very severe crisis now. So we have a very small budget, and when you have 7 people working on just one account, it's not profitable. So maybe we decided that we are too big, we have too many clients, and we will get it bigger and bigger, and that we can manage this problem. And we had many internal meetings with our top managers in order to find different solutions. How can we keep our structure, but still working on different clients, and we lose lots of time in all these conversations. And I said previously, this structure is very slow. It needs many conversations inside. You cannot just decide when you're in a crisis, just will do this or that. You should discuss with all the people and to take decisions. So we lost lots of time in all these decisions, and finally we reached this 400,000 losses in the middle of the year. And we didn't have time to recover organically, but we had to do something which is more fast and not so nice and pleasant for the people in the agency. I'm not sure that I give you the right answer, but yeah. It's difficult for me as well to understand what the hell happened at the time.
We have a few more questions which appeared. The first one is related again. How did you tell your employees that they are actually fired?
I had a meeting with every one of them from the early in the morning till the end of the day, with all of them personally. And I explained them that we in a situation that we cannot afford having so much people in the agency, and that we should do something. Look, in the end of the day, 2 of the people came back in the company last year. We find work to some of them in our clients, so it wasn't so tough, in fact, and so ugly. But it's a good experience. Any other question?
The next question
related to layoff people.
It's related to the organizational structure, and can you tell us more about the upsides? According to your experience, it's pretty unusual and interesting.
I think I explained. The matrix structure is a structure when you have operations and functions. It's like a business structure now. We have operations and functions. We have operations, 6 companies, digital, PR, advertising, so on and so forth. You had functions which were all the administrative stuff, creative department with all the ideas which are appearing there, and also client service department, which main aim was to combine all the services and to sell them to our clients. Well, from one side, it's very difficult for one person to know everything about marketing communications. This guy is extremely expensive, and there are not many people like this in the market. And this guy should understand PR, advertising, BTL, digital communications, and to be able to sell it to the clients, which is one of the issues of this structure. The second issue is that every decision is taken in consensus with all the people that you have in your mobile team. So you should discuss everything with everyone, and you lose a hell of time in order to reach a right decision. So it's really a structure which doesn't work in the markets where the markets which are in a crisis, because it's very expensive.
Okay, thorough answer. So the next question is, who is your top client?
Thank you for this question. This may be another lesson than 10. We have not 10 clients, we don't have one client, and we try to keep our portfolio with clients which don't have more than 10% from our revenues and profit, in order not to depend on some of them. We have Raiffeisen Bank in our portfolio, Avid, Bulgaria, we have AstraZeneca, Photosynthesis, and many more.
Thank you for the answer.
What is it?
Next question is, not everyone is able to make...
Intel we have the most last client.
Not everyone is able to make their own rules. Do you think it's a matter of personal character, or it is something you learn how to do?
Look, the rules is something that everyone is dreaming to determine. And in the end of the day, no one can force people to follow their rules if they don't want. We live in democracy and the free market. That's why we start talking about principles in our company, but not about rules, because everyone should feel comfortable when works in an environment like our company, which is more creative, and we need the creativity of the people. So the rule and the rules are not something that should be a fixed idea of all of you or of all of us or me, but start thinking of cooperation with all the people that you work with, and start thinking of principles in order to be free to change them tomorrow. Because the rules are something which is today and which looks very nice today and they work today, but you need principles for tomorrow in order to grow your company.
Next question is, what is the most important quality you're looking in an employee?
Very nice question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great. Look, in our company, there are many and very interesting people. Nikki, who is my partner, is a philosopher. Philosopher, yes, thank you. He's philosopher. We have an artist. We have different people from different areas, and we have also PR experts and advertising experts. It's very funny that our executive creative director just graduated PR, which is very funny, and he's very shy about this. And something that I'm looking at people is to be active and to be proactive and to have the fire in their eyes, in order to be really. This profession is something that you can teach and you can learn from people around you. But if you don't have the internal fire and you don't want to develop there and you are not motivated, you are lost. So something which is very important for me is this ambition to get bigger and to have the ambition to grow and to contribute and to be part of the team, and yes, to have the fire in your eyes. And it's not something which is measurable. It's not something which an HR director in our company could find in our people. So sometimes I'm the last guy who is interviewing the people in the company.
Thank you for your answers and for your lecture. Here is a small present from our club.
Thank you very much.